The Cyngas is another archwing weapon. It looks like it's a burst fire weapon. 225 platinum is a fair bit, but you can build this. And of course, you've just got to buy the blueprint. Now, the parts are actually fairly easy to get a hold of if you're with Cephalon, Suda, and Arbiters of Hexis. Otherwise, these parts are in fact tradable, as I had to find out to get the damn things. The barrel is inside of Arbiters of Hexis. I cannot remember the name of it. The receiver is inside of Cephalon Suda, and the stock is inside of the Perrin sequence. But I am liking the fact that the parts are tradable. That is going to be quite an essential thing. It's 12 hours and 2 thing again, that's besides the point. The fact the parts are now tradable for some of the archwing weapons, including the Imperative Handle, is huge. Once finished, doesn't actually look that bad. I think I kind of prefer it when it's closed like this to it being completely open like this. And it does come with 1V polarity. And comparing it to other weapons is kind of useless because, well, you've got a charge weapon, the Grappler. That's a semi-auto, so that's not so bad. The rest of them are pretty much auto-fire or charge things, so it is kind of the first proper burst fire weapon, so we'll just have to see how it goes once we've leveled it up a bit. Even though this thing comes with a V on it, I really wanted to put 2 extra Vs on because I've basically, well, going into builds with this is pretty pointless because there's just enough mods to actually fill this up. But I did have an empty slot where I wanted to put, and I'm trying to remember, there's some weirdly named mod. Is it Hallowed Bullets or something weird like that? Because it just doesn't take down the bubbles at all. When it came to shields, this gun was pretty damn useless for almost everything. And it's mainly the biggest problem with it. You had to aim around shields, and once you got around the shields, enemies who didn't have shields went down so quickly. And some of the grenade you can actually see around the top of the shield, which made it really easy to take those out. The range on it is still really nice, actually. I was using this thing at a long range. Most of the time I actually used it because I was surprised at how well this thing does work at range. Because some of the biggest problems with other archwing weapons is they don't have the same kind of range that the... I've got the name of it now. The Imperator? Yeah, the Imperator has. Which just, it was nice having that kind of range back. Range, and still be able to take things out with a weapon that... Honestly, if this was a full auto weapon, it would have helped a hell of a lot better. The burst fire made it really weird because the reticle in the middle was... I didn't actually realise there's a dot in the middle. I was just kind of trying to get an enemy in the middle of the thing. But after a while, got used to it, and I will admit, this thing didn't really let me down at all. Right up until I got into things like the new pursuit mode, and trying to chase this thing down and shoot with a burst fire weapon just wasn't getting the hits on. If it was a 4 or 5 round burst, this thing probably would have been better, but it seems to be a 3 round burst because the ammo goes from 48 to 45 every time you fire it, and it takes a hell of a lot of spamming for this thing to run out magazine wise, so it's up there as one of the better ones. But I'm trying to think of a downside to it apart from the fact it's a burst fire weapon, and it was pretty much useless against shields. It really was. Then this thing was actually not that bad of a weapon.